we got a new chapter of Boku no Hero Academia that begins right where the last one ended. Begins with Shigaraki Tomura, our anti-protagonist for this anti-arc, in the depth of a flashback, now a full, complete flashback, showing his father who, feeling scorned and disappointed by his superhero mother, now forbids all mention of heroes, all play of heroes, anything like that. The tyrannical rule that extends to the rest of the family. Tomura being left neglected, abused. He's only 5 years old, and his father is hitting him, leaving him out in the cold, in the yard. It's rough. It's a much heavier plotline than I thought they'd go. And some people have comments like, is it really that abusive? Like, it's not the most tragic thing ever. It's not like he's beating Tomura to the brink of death or whatever. But I think almost because it wasn't so intense, that it wasn't so extremely violent, that it almost has like more of a haunting effect. That it really shows how like just the smallest aspects of how you deal with people at this age, of how you deal with your children as a parent, can have such deep ramifications throughout the child's entire life. And as I suspected, this was the moment where his powers activate, and it's in the most gruesome, horrific way that I could possibly imagine. Like, if you want to talk about traumatic events, like this is, it's about as brutal as you can get. The family dog, the one member of the family who didn't either explicitly, abuse you, or through inaction and perpetuation of the abusive mentality of the home, betray you. The one person who is just unconditionally loving to you, destroyed by a power that you don't even understand. The dog just crumbles to blood and fur. Oh. His sister appears, trying to apologize for the betrayal, for lying and saying that Tomura was the one that wanted into the private den, the forbidden den. He's the one who said it had to be secret, sorry. But Tomura is, of course, freaking out. There's nothing he can say. She sees the mutilated dog. Don't go. He reaches out and grabs her. Gotta protect me. Like, he's so sure he's done something just unforgivably wrong. He's convinced some nasty villain must have targeted the family and made Mon crumble into pieces. He doesn't even understand that he's done it wrong. Yeah. He doesn't understand that he was the one that did it. And yet, he's so afraid that he'll be blamed for it. He's just in such despair that it even happened. And now he dusts his sister. This is really, really disturbing. That moment, I still thought it was a villain's doing. He starts to gouge his own eyes almost with the scratching. Vomits. Kind of falls into his own vomit. Jesus. Maybe that's wrong. Thinking back, maybe I already understood what was really going on. Your father, he knows. He knows it's how. Why'd they always make up excuses for him? Don't cry. That's all they ever had to say to me. I can't take this anymore. This is so heavy that he's even acknowledging that, like, no, it was revenge in a sense. That they all were bad to me. That no one was really on my side. They were just a little superficially kinder than my father was. I hate everyone. And here we can see that in this moment of crisis, in this moment of deepest despair and hatred, that his powers temporarily exceeded what they would be for a long time to come. Only within this arc, or this anti-arc, or whatever, was he able to start doing this, like, crumbling by proxy, that he could touch something and something that it was touching would also start to crumble away. Before that, he could only do it directly, right? Like, he needed to, with his full hand, touch something for it to start crumbling away. Whereas here, and as a child, just like he can do now after this latest awakening, he's touching the ground, the crumbling spreads into his mother's feet. She looks on in horror. Oh, as she runs for him. She doesn't understand what's happening. She thinks it's like a sinkhole, that it's maybe a villain's doing. But as she runs, her body falls apart. These are some really graphic scenes, like really intense, really just disturbingly presented. This one, the grabbing Hannah, like the way that it's framed slightly differently each time, so you can really see viscerally all the gory detail of someone's body falling apart like this. And the fact that we've never really seen Tomura execute someone like this through the crumbling thing. It's always been kind of obscured, or it's not a fully successful attack or something like that. We've never just seen how horrific this quirk actually is until now, in this moment of just brutal despair. This isn't a magazine for children, by the way. This isn't Weekly Shonen Jump. This will eventually be adapted by the anime that seemingly everyone watches. A huge crossover smash hit that the whole family can enjoy. I mean, there has been disturbing things before, but I think this is on a whole other level. Yes, on that night, the father emerges from his private study, goes out, sees the results of that massacre. I hope you can live a life full of smiles and joy. That was what was left by his mother, by Nana, for him. Sorry. Ooh. So, as the lawn crumbles away even more, his father grabs a pruning shears, one of those telescoping ones. I have one of those. Bashes his son in the head with it, which, for all of my distaste for this character, for how he's been very condemned in his betrayal so far, I think is quite reasonable. I think he's assessed quickly that this is Tenko's doing, all of this death and destruction. Stop. Yes, in that moment, brimming with unmistakable bloodlust, I touched my father. So even though he's not sure, he can't be sure that his child self was genuinely trying to protect his family, his mother and sister and grandparents, or if he actually did want them to die. He knew this is unmistakable. He deliberately killed his father. Man, sorry, this is heavy. This is making me think about a lot of stuff. Filled me with pure, maddening ecstasy. somewhere deep in my heart, I must have been yearning for that all along. Just like that, the itch was gone. The house crumbles down. His father crumbles away. And in the dust and ashes and blood-soaked air, a villain is born. All right, and that's the end of the chapter. A short chapter. But really, what more could they do? I am shocked that a story this graphic and disturbing would be printed in Shonen Jump. I'll be real with you. It's not the most violent thing I've ever seen in Shonen Jump. Something like Yu Yu Hakusho, of course, vastly exceeds it in that regard. It's maybe not the most psychologically disturbing either. You know, some elements of like One Piece or Naruto were quite nightmarish in their full ramifications. But the element of reality here, that it depicts a household that's, you know, quite plausible, that the sort of domineering tyrant of a father, the forbidden element of play, that the child is restricted from doing something, that the whole family is superficially on the side of the child, but really just dines to everything the father says and is really betraying him by not disrupting these cycles. All of that is so real, all of that is so plausible in the abstract that I don't doubt there's many readers of Weekly Shonen Jump that had found themselves in that sort of household, or perhaps still are in that sort of household. And for them to read this story of that in the end, everyone is massacred, that everyone is brutally, bloodily massacred before your eyes in just this whirlwind of ecstasy and hatred and depraved bloodlust. Like, what? Is that okay? Like, I feel like this issue should be released with a therapist hotline and like mandatory counseling for any child that reads it. Like, holy moly. Jeez, man. It's rough, but it sure adds a lot of tragedy to this character. It really makes me think that in the end, probably what's coming to him isn't just defeat, but some sort of rehabilitation, some sort of revelation and restoration. I don't know. But man, it's tough because I don't really know how sympathetic he's supposed to be in this story, right? Like, we can agree that his situation is hellish, you know, to the degree that it's unbearable is kind of a matter of personal understanding and how you would feel in that situation. But we certainly don't blame Tomura for any of these circumstances. And so much of what happens during the early parts of the rampage is just clearly an accident. And even though he doubts that it was accidental, he wonders if maybe maliciously he was trying to kill them all, that he did understand what was happening. That very confusion, the fact that he's kind of open about that, and yet there's still like ambiguity. Like, I think we're supposed to be sympathetic to that. Like, I think that shows that there's still some sort of turmoil in his heart, that he's not just, I don't know. And then the deliberate killing of his father, like, I don't know. Are we supposed to condemn that as far too brutal of an overreaction to his strict parenting? But to what extent? Like, he's 5 years old. Yeah, man, this is rough. This threw me. This threw me. I was not prepared for this. I suppose I should realize that we would get the anti-flashback in the middle of the anti-arc, and that everything I thought I knew about origin stories was going to get thrown out the window. I thought Togo's was bad enough. I thought Twice's was bad enough. Both of those had real, brutal, disturbing elements too, but nothing like this. Nothing like watching a child kill his entire family. Holy. Alright. And then it shows here the buy the latest volume. It's like, yeah! Remember what the series is about this? Let's have a dance party! Oh no, we gotta stop the weird and goofy villains that are coming to intrude. Ha ha. But none of them killed their entire families when they were 5. Alright, bye bye for now.